Hello children, welcome back. We are going to continue on 9.1 nervous system. Previously, I have already discussed the formation of a resting potential. So we move on with the formation of action potentials. As you know, when we are asleep, most of our nerves are not transmitting an impulse. So, if we were to measure the electrical value in an axon, it will give us a resting potential of negative 70 millivolts. Let's recollect how a resting potential is achieved in an axon. The resting potential is when the outside of the axon is positive, while the exoplasm inside the axon is negative 70 millivolts. This happens because there will be a high concentration of both sodium ions as well as potassium ions in the tissue fluid. And inside the axon, you will have a low concentration of potassium ions and a low concentration of sodium ion plus the organic anions. So using this, I move on to the action potential. Now, action potential will occur when, for example, in this cartoon, this little girl shouts, causing the person who was sleeping here to wake up. So, for this person to jump out of bed, what would have happened is the nerves would have started transmitting an impulse. That means an action potential was generated. Now, action potential will only be generated if there is a stimulus. In this cartoon, the girl is the stimulus. And the action potential will cause a response. The response being the poor boy jumping out of bed. So let's see how that action potential is generated, or another word for it, propagated. Based on the cartoon, if I were to measure the membrane potential of the poor boy who jumped out of bed, the graph will start to appear like this. So earlier here at negative 70 millivolt, his axon was in resting potential state. So he was sleeping quietly. This point here where you see the graph starts to go up, that means it starts to become less negative. That is the point where we say the stimulus was received. So once the stimulus is received, you see that the membrane potential becomes less and less negative up to here, which is known as the threshold potential. Now, you see, although the boy has received the stimulus, okay, he still has not got out of bed yet. This is because the membrane potential is below threshold potential. Okay, that is why at times you see, sometimes your mother calls you, you hear your mother calling, but you don't respond. The reason is because your axons have not passed threshold potential yet. Now, once your axon's membrane potential passes threshold potential, then you see the graph starts to increase very fast until it touches action potential at positive 40 millivolts. When your axon reaches positive 40 millivolts, then there is a response. Okay, so like in that cartoon, the little boy jumps out of bed. So like you also, at times, certain stimulus don't make you respond. That is because the stimulus was not able to make your membrane potential pass the threshold potential. But some stimulus, you respond. Those stimulus have been able to make your membrane potential pass threshold. Now, once you have responded already, your nerve cannot keep on making you respond. The boy cannot keep on jump out of bed. So what will happen is the nerve will have to return to normal. So I'm going to start the discussion about this point when the stimulus is received and the impulse is started. That is known as propagation of impulse or generation of impulse. I shall use this diagram to help explain the propagation of an impulse. I would like to point out here that throughout the propagation of impulse, the sodium-potassium pump will continue to pump 3 sodium out of the exoplasm, 3 sodium ions out of the exoplasm, and 2 potassium ions into the exoplasm. Over here, this facilitated diffusion continues where less sodium ions diffuse into the exoplasm and more potassium ions diffuse out of the exoplasm. So these two processes continue, okay, but they become less efficient because now the ion-gated channels begin to function. So in my explanations after this, I will not be mentioning the sodium-potassium pump nor the non-gated channels, okay, because they will function just like how they were functioning during resting potential. So to help with the discussion, I shall eliminate these two proteins from my diagram. So we focus on the sodium ion gated channel and the potassium ion gated channel. Now when an impulse arrives at the axon, the impulse will actually stimulate the sodium ion gated channel to open slightly. So you see the gate has moved. Now once the gate is open, the membrane now is more permeable to sodium ion. Remember earlier, the membrane actually lets sodium ion diffuse in slowly using the non-gated sodium ion channel. But now the sodium ion gated channel is open. That means more sodium can diffuse in. So that's what we mean by the membrane increases permeability to sodium ion. So now what's going to happen is the sodium ions are going to start diffusing down the concentration gradient. But here we don't use the word diffuse, we use the word influx. Influx is telling us that the ions are actually going to start rushing in. Okay, the reason why they are rushing in is because the sodium ions are attracted to the negatively charged organic ions in the exoplasm. So that is why the sodium ions are going to be rushing in. One is because there is a high concentration of sodium ion in the tissue fluid, and two, because of the attraction to the organic ions. So because of the rushing in of the sodium ions, the threshold potential will be achieved. Okay, that is now outside is going to have less sodium ions, and inside the axon, the sodium ion is increasing. So naturally, the electrical charge is going to start decreasing from negative 70 millivolts to negative 55 millivolts, which we consider as threshold potential. Now I'm going to explain to you what happens after threshold potential. But it is important for you to remember that most of the stimulus is not able to make the membrane potential of the axon reach negative 55 millivolt. So that is why some stimulus do not cause a response. Okay, like for example, as I said, sometimes maybe when I'm teaching you, or maybe even when you are watching this video, your brain is blank. The reason could be because what you are seeing, what you are hearing is not able to make the membrane potential of the axons in your brain to reach negative 55 millivolt. Okay, but now let's say you are listening or you are hearing and you decide to start taking notes. That means your axon has reached negative 55 millivolt. Once your axon reaches negative 55 millivolt, what happens is the sodium ion gated channels start to open completely. What I mean by this is, you see just now when I was explaining threshold potential to you, I only showed you one sodium ion gated channel. Okay, but when action potential is going to happen, the other sodium ion gated channels will start opening too. Okay, of course, the axon membrane has many of these channels. But during threshold potential, only a few will open. But once you have passed negative 55 millivolt, one by one, the sodium ion gated channels will start opening. So, this makes your axon even more permeable to sodium ion. Earlier at threshold potential, we only said that the membrane is more permeable to sodium ion. But now if the axon is going to reach action potential where the sodium ion gated channels have started to open a lot, then the membrane becomes extremely permeable to sodium ion. So the influx of the sodium ion is going to be maximum, and that's why the membrane potential graph increases very fast from negative 55 millivolts to positive 40 millivolts, which we call as the action potential. So you see the axon then becomes positively charged and outside becomes negatively charged. So it has become depolarized. And you see once you reach action potential, a response will happen. Okay, but after this, the nerve must go back to normal. So let's look at how the nerve returns to normal. For the nerve to return to normal, repolarization must occur. That is, the positive 40 millivolt action potential has to return to negative. To do that, two important events occur. The first is that the sodium ion gated channels will have to close. By closing, there will be no more influx of new sodium ions into the axon. The second stage involves the role of the potassium ion gated channels. Now, if you notice in my diagram so far, there has been no potassium. It's not because potassium disappeared. Potassium has been there since the resting potential. It's just for diagram convenience, I removed it temporarily. Okay, but please remember potassium has always been there. But now for repolarization, what happens is the potassium ion gated channels will open. Okay, so here you see one of the potassium ion channel is open, and because there is a high concentration of potassium ions, the potassium ions will start to diffuse out very quickly. So this is called the efflux of potassium ions. So naturally, when there is no more new sodium ion coming in, and whatever potassium ion that is presently inside is leaving very quickly, we find that slowly the membrane potential starts to become negative once more. That means it is becoming repolarized. Okay, but you notice in the graph, it becomes too negative. That means it goes beyond negative 70 millivolts. So let me explain why that happens. When the membrane potential goes below the value of resting potential, that means it goes below negative 70 millivolts, it goes under the resting potential level. So that is why they call it undershoot. This process is also known as hyperpolarization. Now, why this happens is because the potassium ion gated channels are open for too long. So because of that, too many potassium ion molecules have managed to diffuse into the tissue fluid. So that is why the membrane potential becomes extremely negative. That is, it can go down to negative 80, negative 90, and so on. But of course, this process does not continue forever. The nerve will return to resting potential. We see next how that is done. For a hyperpolarized nerve to come back to resting potential, what has to happen is the potassium gated channels will completely close. So once they are closed, there is no more efflux of potassium ions, and now the function of the sodium potassium pump is efficient once again because it is not experiencing any disturbance from the ion gated channels, and the potassium and sodium ions will start to diffuse normally using the non-gated channels. So in this way, eventually the membrane potential of the axon will return to negative 70 millivolt resting potential. So let me now summarize based on this graph. During resting potential, the neuron is said to be polarized. That is when it is at negative 70 millivolt. So at this time, both the potassium ion gated channel and sodium ion gated channel are closed. Then when a stimulus arrives, what happens is depolarization will start. To do that, the sodium ion gated channel will open. The potassium ion gated channel remains closed. This opening of the sodium ion gated channel makes the axon membrane more permeable to sodium, and there will be an influx of sodium that now reduces the negativity in the neuron, making it become less negative to threshold potential of negative 55 millivolt. After that, what happens is all of the sodium ion gated channels start to open one by one. This will make the membrane extremely permeable, so more influx of sodium ion occurs, causing the membrane to be completely depolarized to become positive, reaching a maximum of positive 40 millivolts, which is action potential. And that is the moment when we will give a response. Now after that, the nerve has to go back to normal, So during this time, repolarization will occur. That is, the potassium ion gated channels will open while the sodium ion gated channel closes. So this way, the neuron will start to become more negative, and this is called repolarization. But because the potassium ion gated channels are taking too long to close, that means they are remain open for too long, what happens is hyperpolarization or undershoot occurs. But eventually, the potassium ion gated channel will close, and since the sodium ion gated channel is also closed, we will return to resting potential, that is, the nerve remains polarized once more. So that is the story of formation of resting potential and action potential. So in my next video, I will discuss the characteristics of a nerve impulse. Until then, goodbye.